That's why it looks at your face, dude. You allow it. It's disgusting. That's a beast. That's a beast of the earth right there.
You're a beast of the earth, you fucking bitch.
I am.
You're a bitch of the earth.
You already said I'm a beast. You can't take it back. You retard.
You're a beast of a bitch.
You're a beast of the jungle.
Beast of the porch. Oh, man. I think we're recording. Camera's up. Audio's recording. It's episode 1.
All right, cool. Are we just going to go right into it?
I guess, right? That's the best way to do it. You want to, or should I?
Either one.
Welcome. What's up, Kobe? Okay. You're a good boy. Okay. We're going to have to restart that again. Because you're fucking up Daddy's shot. All right. Well, welcome to Almost History Podcast. The Almost History Podcast. I am Ben Gordon. I'm a struggling comic in Los Angeles.
And I am Logan Quiroz. I'm another comic and also struggling. And this is Kobe, Benjamin's dog / son.
Damn, I said the best dog and the best son.
Yeah, dude. Then he has this little thing on his head because he just chopped his testicles off.
That's what they told me to do. That's what media says to do. I feel bad. I did almost cry the day after. Hey, we're not doing that. Don't
Look how sad he looks, dude, without his testicles.
Well, wouldn't you be sad without your testicles?
Yeah, exactly. Thank God my parents didn't take them from me like you.
Now I get why that female mutilation stuff in Africa, I get why it's wrong now.
You just had to do it to a dog once?
The female circumcision, I'm like, oh, this is what they're
That's disgusting, dude.
complaining about. This is Almost History, though. It's a podcast about history and conspiracies and all the fun stuff in between. Not our first attempt at a podcast.
No, we've tried one before, and the first one was just we realized we get together, if we just start to talk with no topic in mind, we get too angry.
Yeah, start bashing specific people.
It just turns into us being mad about comedy for an hour.
Yeah, in our position.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This show is bullshit. This is all bullshit.
And we think it's good because we're like, oh, we're having a good time, and then we listen back, we're like, oh, it's just us being mad for 2 hours straight.
Yeah, making threats, making very specific threats that sound doable. That you can't put that shit out. So we decided can't do that. We don't want to incriminate ourselves, but we do like history. We do like conspiracies and stuff like that.
We do like both those things.
So we figured we would try to make one of those.
So here we are.
Make it fun.
So yeah, what we're gonna do is basically every episode, one of us will come with a topic that the other one does not know about, and we'll present it to the other person. And for this first episode, you are the presenter.
Yes, and hopefully this does not. Hopefully this doesn't suck. I'm a little excited, a little nervous, but
I am. You should be excited, dude.
I'm not good at talking, so hopefully I don't.
Oh, probably should be doing comedy then.
You're not the first person to say that to me. I hear that a lot, actually. Mainly from myself, inner thoughts. Well, I'm going first. I chose a sports conspiracy for my first one.
Let's hear it.
I guess it's more sports history with possible conspiracy attached to it, I guess.
Interesting.
Depending on who you talk to. Have you ever heard of the Battle of the Sexes?
Yes, I have.
What do you know about the Battle of the Sexes?
Not too much. I know a little bit. I know tennis, man versus lady. That's about it.
Okay.
It was a big. I didn't know about the conspiracy. I knew more about the controversy.
Okay, I didn't know if you knew English for a second. You were struggling. All right. Okay, controversy, conspiracy, same thing. Let's get into it. All right. So it was 1973. It was a couple tennis matches. But before we get to there, let's rewind it a year before that. 1972, Title IX. You know what that is?
Is that no? I have no clue. Is that a type of a tennis racket?
You unread heathen. Title IX was a bill that was passed that pretty much stated that government funding couldn't be discriminated against upon like gender. So it was a big thing for schools.
Sounds dumb.
Yeah, listen, this is the birth of female sports essentially, because it mainly works out with schools. Like when schools get funding for their programs or whatever. Athletics.
Oh, so before this, ladies just like wouldn't play sports?
Yeah.
in school?
Make America
Or would
great
they have
again.
to join the boys' team? They had to Mulan it.
It was not a lot of options. Girls just weren't playing sports that often, or if they did, they weren't getting people just didn't respect their teams. There was no funding for them. No eyeballs on their sports.
When were there? When was it mostly like? When did black people start coming into sports? What year was that?
Which sport are we talking about?
When did they first start to come over to whatever sport?
It
When's Jackie Robinson like? Yeah, I'm hopping in there.
40 something, I think.
Okay, and so before that,
God, that
imagine
could be so wrong, which is such a bad look. If I don't know that, but I think 40.
for some reason I was thinking 40 something too.
I think
So
yeah.
well, we could both be wrong. But before that, so imagine we saw the white men's league. Imagine white lady sports.
Yeah.
What a nightmare.
The first. So all right. So I was thinking about that. So because of Title IX, a result of it was one, women's teams would get proper funding from schools and everything.
Yeah.
But a big part of it was women's sports just became more popular. Like women started playing sports now. Girls got more into sports. Those first teams must have been hard to watch.
Dude, it must have been brutal. Like today's women's sports are tough to watch. Imagine back then. Today's like women's basketball looks like the original men's basketball, where they're like looking at the floor.
The 1940s.
They're dribbling with a flat palm.
Yeah, and one hand open like in the back. Everyone just watches them dribble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No defense.
Yeah,
Dude, it is kind of crazy that before they let women play sports, they let black people in. That's like they hated black people,
Yeah,
and they're like, you know what? It's better than women.
They weren't even people. They weren't even like full people.
Yeah, dude.
And they're like, all right, well, this is that was like gladiators, man versus beast, essentially.
Oh, yeah, and
Even the most woke, even the whitest of knights had to have been like, God damn, for those first couple of women's games. Just, what the fuck am I doing?
yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Let's go to a women's basketball game. And then
It's like
sit there for 5 minutes. Like, God damn it.
Final score 12-10. Yeah.
I do want to see old school women's basketball footage.
No, you don't.
I want to see how bad that is.
That's like 95. WNBA is like 20 years old.
There's no like other league.
I guess you could.
If you have footage of like 1940s women playing basketball, that's got to be the most insane thing.
They were doing other things like making food and being
Yeah,
the foundation of the American household. 1940s women had to, there was a war going on. And
That's
shit.
true. They didn't have the luxury of balling. They couldn't just hoop with their lady friends.
But that's probably one of their stories. Is like, I could have been a star. I could have been a bigot, but fucking Hitler.
I could have been a star. You should have seen me hitting those 8-foot jumpers.
Heels to cheek. That's how I shoot. Jump. Well, this is, I guess, a good way to trend. So, 72, that passes. 1973, this guy, Bobby Riggs, starts, like, thrashing just women's tennis in general, women's sports. And because,
Who's he?
So, Bobby Riggs is this former tennis player. 1939, he was the #1 overall player. He won Wimbledon.
Ooh,
he
so
won the U.S. Open.
He's a bit of a baller himself.
Yeah, he was a former player, whatever. And at this point, he was like in his like late early 50s, mid 50s, whatever. And he's just bashing. I think the quote he said was like, I know, it's crazy. Kobe has a lot of opinions on this.
Yeah, Kobe's not a big fan of women's sports.
But yeah, he had a quote where he was
Kobe,
like,
you're basically a woman now, so you better shut your mouth.
Hey, he's beautiful. Don't you
Yeah, he
dare.
doesn't have testicles now. He trans, dude. You trans your dog.
White women told me to cut his balls off, or else I was a monster. So I cut his balls off, and now I feel like a monster.
Yeah, you hang out with white women too much. These days, they tell you to cut your dick and balls off. And like, actually, dude, you might be a lady. Don't listen to them.
I just want to be woke. That's it.
Yeah, that's woke. I think this is probably good for us. This sounds like we're putting out woke content right now.
This is woke for us.
First 10 minutes, we're like, yo, women's sports sucks. Women make you trans.
Well, the white ones do.
White women, yeah.
Well, anyway, so Bobby Riggs, former tennis player, former #1, So the year after Title IX passes, he's just bashing women's sports in general.
Nice.
In women's tennis, he's like, yeah, these girls are complaining. If they think they're so good, they should play me and they should beat me if they think they're that good. He was just calling them out, which is a weird call out, I guess, now that I think about it. Because he was like a 55. Like, these girls are like trying to play like other prime girls. And he's like a 55. He probably
How
just
old
wanted,
are these girls?
They were like 28, 29, and he's like 50. He just wanted to see young girls in hot uniforms running around. That'd be like if porn actresses were like, we want equal pay, and I was like, you want equal pay? Then you should suck my dick. Like, I'm not. I have nothing to do with this. What the fuck?
Man, yeah. It's just a weird thing to do to bring yourself into it. Like, imagine like you're a dad is at like a high school basketball game, like his daughter's basketball game, and some girl's like, Coach, I want more playtime. He's like, you want more playtime? Coach, I'll take care of this. Beat me 1-on-1. It's like in Love and Basketball when they play for the relationship.
Yeah, play for love.
Yeah, play for love.
That dude was not hustling really hard enough. If a girl challenged me like that, every loose ball I'm diving for. I'm having John Wooden-esque defense. The principles of defense. If a girl challenges me like that. Anyway, though, so Bobby's talking a lot of stuff, and he's calling out all these girls. And Bobby himself was an interesting guy. I did a lot of research into him. He was a cool dude. He's from Los Angeles, one of you, right?
Oh, yeah.
He was born out here. And when he became number one in 1939 out in England, because he won Wimbledon and all these other tournaments, he had bet $500 on himself to win in Wimbledon, which was not allowed. He was known as like a hustler and a gambler. That was like he had this quote where it was like, if I can't play for big money, I play for little money, and if I can't play for little money, I just stay in bed that day.
I like that.
Yeah, it was. He had a lot of cool sayings like that.
Damn, I gotta look up some of these quotes. I might use some of these.
Right? I mean, you can't really use that on the comedy stage, so.
Yeah.
Like, if that joke bombs, I pull out this joke. And if that joke bombs, I want to go fucking kill myself. Well, yeah, so he bet $500 on himself to win in Wimbledon, to win all the tournaments, whatever, all the events.
Oh, yeah.
Which you're not allowed to do, but he did it anyway. He won, like, the equivalent of $2 million from all the prize money. But then it was 1939, so World War II was, like, in its height, or about to break out. So all the banks in Europe had to shut down, so he wasn't allowed to take the money out. So he had to wait like 7 years until 1946 to come back, and it collected like all this interest. And so even though it fucked him, he made like an extra like $200,000 on the money.
Oh,
because he wasn't allowed to touch it for a couple years. He was a interesting guy. He also had another story about him that I thought was funny. So he was like the first, I guess, player to play a trans woman, I guess. I don't know. I'm assuming. There's no other like record of it. But it was this trans player, like Renee Richards, I think her name was. And she wasn't allowed to play in Wimbledon because this is the 70s and they weren't woke.
She wasn't even allowed to play against the dudes?
Nope, because they weren't woke.
Dang. You would think they would let her play against the dudes.
Yeah, you would think people in the 70s would be open-minded and would let. you would think that. Yeah, this is fine for us.
Huh. Yeah, I wonder.
They didn't even want schools to be integrated. I doubt they were going to.
That's true. That's a good point. But now I was thinking you would think, like, you let them play against dudes like, yeah, shut this lady down, destroy her.
Well,
that's what you would think they would do.
I think it's the 70s. They probably get this person away from you.
Yeah, that does make more sense.
Probably wasn't even a person. They weren't woke like this.
It's funny, like the not woke take today is like, yo, like, force them to play with the boys. You know? That's like, you can't let them play with the women. You got to let them play with the boys, which is like actually very progressive back then. Back then, it was like, throw them in a cage, put them in the circus. Now, so we're getting better.
I think so, but I'm not the
maybe not.
I'm not the person to anyway. So he knew this Renee Richards when she was a man, or before she transitioned, because she was always a woman. So he knew her when she was still in a man's body.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever the woke version is of this is what I'm trying to say.
I see.
However, I don't get canceled is how I'm trying to say this. So after Renee transitioned and became a woman, she was playing at a San Diego.
I keep picturing. Well, you say Renee, I just keep picturing Renee Vaca in like a wig. He's a very funny Mexican comic, but look him up and then imagine him in a wig. It's funny. Imagine him playing tennis.
So Bobby Bobby sees Renee playing at a San Diego country club, and he recognizes her from her bat, like just from her swing. She got even though they transitioned or whatever. He like saw her swing and was like, oh shit, it's I forgot his fake name when he was a man. His evil nonsense name.
His dead name.
His dead name.
Don't dead name her.
Is that what it's called? Dead name?
Yeah, it's when you call someone by their old name, that's dead naming.
Oh well.
And I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't either. To the point where I don't even know what the fuck his dead name is.
Her dead name.
Her dead.
Jesus,
yeah, there you
dude.
go. Well,
You got a lot to learn.
Well, because it was his dead name.
Nope, she was always a lady.
Okay, well, I don't know what that name was, but when Bobby saw her, Bobby was like, "Oh, you have to like how you like." He just was cool about it. He was like, "Oh, how you doing?" Like Renee said about like Bobby was like just normal Bobby, just like like didn't make a big deal out of it, didn't care about it, was just treating them like a person. And then Bobby was like, "Hey, we should go play a match together." And Renee's like, "Okay." So Bobby brings her to like this court to play a match, and she said across the court was like these two like thugs, like these two like mafia like mobsters who had like no business being on the court. And Bobby's like, yeah, no, we're good, let's play. And Bobby turns to Renee, is like, take some practice swings, and he's like, not too, take it easy, don't take serious practice swings. So these mob guys see Renee like hitting the ball, and they think it's like a cis woman, I guess. Like they're and then they end up busting these guys' asses. Like they beat these two mobsters, and they won like $5,000. But they had to like run out the court. Like they like ran out of the courts because they were gonna kill him. They got hustled.
Oh Jesus!
Bobby was a cool guy. That's all I'm trying to say. He knew how to make money, and he knew how to.
He's a hustler.
Yeah, even after he retired, he did like these series of matches where he would like play people like wearing like a raincoat and holding a bucket of water, or he'd do like 3 versus 1 or 2 versus 1 or.
It was a free show.
Yeah.
Harlem Globetrotters of tennis.
Yeah. Or the one street ball of tennis.
Yes.
Just this old white guy. So it's around the same time. So he that's who he was. Just an interesting kind of dude. So he calls out women's tennis, and he called out this lady, Billie Jean King. Billie Jean King. He calls her out, and at the time she was number 2 in the world for women's tennis, and she was like, "No, I don't want to do this. It seems like a sham and like a gimmick. I'm not into it." So all right, cool. So he goes and calls out this other lady, Margaret Court. Margaret Court, if you know tennis, she's one of the greats. A lot of people consider her to be like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
She has the most majors ever, and she was actually King's like rival. Her and King were like heated rivals. So King was number 2 at the time because Court was number 1. And the year before that, King was number 1 and Court was number 2. Like they always switched back and forth. I think they played each other like 32 times in their careers, and Court won like 22 of those times. These are facts that I memorized, obviously.
There you go.
And they're also rivals off the court. I learned because King later in life became a lesbian. She found her sexuality, became a lesbian. Margaret Court, after she retired, became like a Baptist minister or something like that. And just hates gays or whatever. Just opposes gay marriage.
Dang, so yeah, they are rivals in every aspect of life.
On and off the court, they just couldn't get rid of each other. So anyway, Margaret Court agrees to play Bobby Riggs in this first game, right? And Bobby, he's training like 10 to 12 hours a day, and he's like I'm gonna prove a point, whatever, with this. I'm bringing it home. You like this, Kobe? Okay. Nope. Can't have you look in my face. Not on camera. They think I'm a freak. So Bobby starts. They play the match, and it's a whooping. They call it the Mother's Day massacre because he beats her like in straight sets 6-2.
On Mother's Day.
On Mother's Day, the Mother's Day massacre.
Jesus.
He also murdered like 10 people afterwards. So it's just this whole other thing. Mother's Day massacre.
Jeez, dude.
So afterwards, he goes back to Billie King, and he's like, "What now, bitch? Let's play." And he blows up after this, and he's like on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
And this is him at like 55.
Him at 55 years old. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. He's parading around like women blowing in the kitchen. He's saying like a bunch of like crazy stuff in the process because he's like a showman. He knows how to sell just a show, I guess. I
yeah.
said that. So he goes back to Billie Jean King, and he's like, "Yeah, now what? You dumb bitch. Let's play." And she was like, "All right, like now, because there's a lot of money involved. This is like a huge match." She was like, "All right, cool, let's do it." So Billie Jean King, just to give some information to her, she's also a legend of the sport. She has like 24 majors or something like that. She's from out here, also from Long Beach.
Nice.
She, a lot of people would consider her to be the greatest of all time. You could, a lot don't, but she's one of the greats. She's just an icon to the sport, an icon of women's sports in general, and to like gay rights and all this other stuff. And she was a big proponent for like Title IX, and like, so this is like right up her alley. Like she the reason why she didn't want to play the first match is because she was like, oh, this is like a sham to women's sports. I don't want to be involved with it. But now she's like, oh, I have to defend.
Now she's something to take a stand for.
Right. Yeah. She even said like, I felt like I had like if I didn't win, I would like set us back like 50 years or something like that, and like I had to whatever. So she felt motivated this time around. So Bobby starts going all out. Again, he's the man. He's on top of the world right now. He's on Sports Illustrated with like the caption like "Never bet against a man" or something like that. Like he's killing it. And
he always has to bring up betting too.
Yeah, and so the promotion for this match, he just made it like fun. So he would sell tickets to like his practices, his training, and all that stuff, and he would spend the whole like hour practice just smacking tennis balls against photos of Billie Jean King and just talking shit the whole time. Like looking at the camera like, this is what I'm gonna do to her. Like he's talking like a boxer. Like she has no chance. Like I'm gonna take this dumb bitch down. Like
this was like he was Rocky III training.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Except it's against
a lady, not Mr. T.
In retrospect, he's just a bully. He's just like some 60-year-old guy who hates to see these young girls like fighting for what they want. He's like, fuck these stupid bitches. I'm like, so
that is very funny to just be like, unironically, just challenging a woman to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kick her ass.
Yeah, being and at this time too, with Title IX being like the height of everything, it's insane.
Yeah,
like it's just such a wild stance to take. That he's like, yeah, no, I think actually they belong back in the kitchen. And he was saying wild stuff too, where he was so he was like, yeah, girls belong in the kitchen. My heroes are Henry VIII and people like that. And Henry VIII was the king who like cut off all of his wives' heads.
Oh my god!
Because he couldn't get a divorce, so he would just like decapitate them instead.
It's funny because when I imagine him saying it, I imagine him saying it in the context of like comedy. Because that's what it sounds like today. But was he just serious?
If you watch those tapes today, because I watched a couple of them.
Yeah.
You could see how it's like partly showman, but he's a very good actor. Because he's like, there are clips where like they're like next to each other, and he's like, this bitch right here. And the stuff he's saying is like so over the top. Like, a woman really thinks she's equal to a man? Are you? And it's like, and people in the crowd like, yeah, this is like, how dare it? It's like, it's just funny.
Oh my god.
I wish we could have I wish I could get. If I could go back in time, that'd be one of the few places I go, just to be in the room while he's going off on a tangent.
Damn.
Just snapping. And the build-up was real. People started to believe in this game. I think the match itself had like 50 million people watching in the U.S.
Ooh, damn.
And it had something like 90 million people watching worldwide. Glad I'm boring you.
No, dude, your dogs fucking killed me with allergies.
You yawn when you get allergies? That's your response?
Yawning is from a lack of oxygen getting in your brain. That's what someone told me once.
You just took it?
Yeah, I'm just going with it.
Didn't verify it?
Nah, didn't check.
All right.
That was like my 6th grade teacher told me that, actually. And ever since then, I'm just like, yeah, that sounds right.
My 6th grade teacher told me I was a thug. Which
Well,
made no sense because I was also the class wimp. So
were you being a thug?
No, I wasn't. She was like, "You're a thug," and I was like, "Tell these other kids that because they're beating the shit out of me."
It is funny when you were telling the tennis story about the trans lady and Bobby, whatever his name is,
Riggs.
Bobby Riggs.
Don't get it wrong.
There's too many Bobbies in the story, but with
there's one.
I thought what about the lady? Isn't there a lady named Bobby?
Her name is Billie.
Billie. Don't have a boy's name if you're a lady, okay? Stick to the kitchen.
You ever heard of Billie Jean? That's what the song is about. Michael Jackson.
Billie Jean.
It's about her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's
God, you always lie to me. Back to what I was gonna say is, Bobby Riggs.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
That's what I was thinking of. I'm so bad at names, dude. But when Bobby Riggs and the trans lady were playing tennis, you said there were like thugs on the other court. And when you first said that, I pictured black guys. And then you said mafia. I'm like, oh, those kind of thugs.
1970s, I don't think they were allowed to play interracial tennis.
That's what I was like, what are they doing at the tennis court?
Yeah, that country club? It's a progressive country club. They can only be there if they were working. They had different kind of uniforms on.
Because these days, that's what people say when they say thugs. Back in the day, when you say thugs, it was mafia.
Yeah, or gangster.
Yeah.
Gangsters with a hard R.
Yeah. Yeah, now it's different.
Gangsta. King or Riggs also did a lot of. He was great at building the hype for the match.
Yeah.
So for Wimbledon of that year, he went to Wimbledon to watch Billie Jean play, and he was just talking shit the whole time while she's playing.
So when she's playing, is this build-up already happening? Like
Yeah.
they already know they're gonna play.
They know they're gonna play.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is so they played a couple months after. So the two matches were 4 months apart. I think the first one was in May, and the second one was in September. So Wimbledon was somewhere in between there. And he goes to Wimbledon while she's playing, and while she's having a match, he's like, I came here to watch the competition. There is no competition. But it's pretty much what he's saying. He's like, people are asking me what game plan do I need for Billie Jean? I don't need a game plan. That is my game plan. Like he's just the ultimate shit talker.
So he was like both. He was both sides of Rocky in Rocky 3. He was like he had Rocky's work ethic, with like just putting on, his trainings just to show, and then he had Mr. T's shit talking, where he shows up. He's like, yeah, I'll show you what a real man is.
But it worked. So. It worked. This was, to this day, as of my research, this was still the largest viewed tennis match like in U.S. history.
Yeah, dude. 90 million you said?
90 million worldwide, 50 million U.S. And then they had it at the Astrodome in Houston, and they had like 30,000 people showed up just to watch this fucking match. It was huge.
This was a Jake Paul event, just
Yeah.
freak show, celebrity match that like people will tune into.
Well, I call them female athletes. I wouldn't call them freaks, but I call them beautiful athletes personally.
Why do you call them beautiful, dude? I just call them athletes.
Well then,
sorry, I don't sexualize athletes like that.
I was trying to think of a response, and I was like, "Fuck, you got me.
Got him.
You outwoke me."
Woke you once again.
Oh, they also had Billie Jean for the match. She wore like a Cleopatra uniform or whatever. And I thought this was funny. Bobby Riggs was paid the equivalent of $300,000 to wear a sugar daddy. You know the candy sugar daddy.
Yeah.
He wore a sugar daddy suit, and they paid him like $300,000
Wow.
to wear that. I thought that was funny.
That is amazing.
And then
I want to see that suit. I want to see a picture of that suit.
If I can get a picture, I'll pop it up on the
nice.
on the screen. And it was serious money. They were playing for $100,000, and which was equivalent today is $610,000 or something like that.
Wow.
So,
and that was probably, you probably plugged that number in. That's probably a number from a couple months ago, whenever that article was from. Now, like today,
yeah, right.
it's probably tripled.
Yeah, So it was serious, and this was again at the height of whatever. So they play the match. Any predictions for how it goes down?
The man wins.
The man wins, right? No, Billie Jean whoops him. So I watched parts of the game because you can find it on YouTube, and it's like not from the very beginning. It's like not even. It looks bad. Bobby, our boy, our king, is getting destroyed out there.
Dude, after he just destroyed the number one chick, and now he gets destroyed by number two?
No, so yeah, she played like a different style game than she usually does. She said like she allowed him to like just over serve. So Bobby was known as like a very accurate server for his career. In this match, he had less than 50% successful serves. If you watch the tape, there were a bunch of times where like he couldn't even get the ball to like hit the net when like she would serve it to him and he couldn't return it back. It looked bad, and she smashes him and she wins the match. It catapults her into like superstardom. The year before this, she was like the first ever Woman of the Year for sports athlete of the year, whatever. And this this was even more than that. Added on top of that, and she was a hero to women's sports and everything. Bobby goes into like a state of depression and hides out. He's like all sad and everything. Kind of goes into obscurity. Don't really hear about him again for a while. He tried something similar a couple years later, like another man versus woman match or whatever.
Man versus beast.
Man versus beast. And it was but he was like 75 or 74 at the time. He was way older at this time.
Oh my God, dude.
He died like a year after this other match. It was like 1 versus 2. When I looked up the article, whatever, like the reports of the match, the journalist was like, yeah, it was like a sad. People were like, they felt bad watching him play because he was so clearly just not.
Who did he play that one?
It was these two. I forgot. It was two bitches. I forgot.
He played too late at once.
Yeah, because that was his thing. He used to do a bunch of stuff like that. He would play 2v1 or 3v1 or.
He's 74 and he's still like, I'll take 2 of you.
Yeah, but instead he got smashed, and it was to the point where it just wasn't like they weren't even proud about it. They were like, oh, we just beat an old man.
Yeah, dude.
Kobe.
He probably has dementia. He's like, yo, I could still take him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to him though, he was making. That's how he made his money. Just bringing, and he always claimed that he was doing this kind of thing to like bring more eyeballs to tennis and to be
He's like, yeah, I want to bring more eyeballs to women's tennis. I'm actually an ally.
Yeah, that was the big debate. People were like, is he an ally or is he just exploiting these women for his own personal gain? It was it was a big topic, whatever.
It's that's like it's like a lot of dudes today. They're like, yeah, I'm an ally, or are you just trying to get pussy?
Yeah, it's just the ultimate white knight.
Yeah.
But Billie Jean, again, she blew up from all this. They might, the Federation Cup in tennis, they renamed it to the Billie Jean Cup. Not because of this, but, I'm sure it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
And, again, she's an icon. I think she recently won, like, the highest honor, like the Medal of Freedom, whatever, in America. She won that in France. So,
what's the Medal of Freedom? Isn't that from war or something? I don't know what that is.
A Medal of Honor? What this is some American...
Medal of Honor? Is it? I don't know, dude.
What's the Presidential Medal of Freedom? There's some medal that the president gives out.
It's probably that. I don't know.
To some people.
I was thinking of like a Purple Heart or something.
I did phrase it the wrong way.
No,
I
it's
made it
probably
sound like
me.
she was like a war hero for France. Some old dyke just crawling on the front lines with a tennis racket. Oh man, nah. So she's to this day, she's still people they love her and everything. And Bobby, just faded into obscurity, and that was the Battle of the Sexes. Or so So here's where the conspiracy stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Like, so
kind of comes into play. So Bobby died in '95, right at the age of like 77 or whatever the fuck it is. So 20 years after, pretty much, it's not 20 years, but close to it. In 2013, this guy Hal Shaw came forward and was like, yeah, the Battle of the Sexes was bullshit. And he's like a whistleblower. So he claims that 40 years prior, he was like a ball boy at this country club where Bobby Riggs was a member or whatever. And I'll get the names. So he claims one day he's back there washing rackets or whatever you do at a fucking country club. And it was in Tampa. So it was a country club, the Palma Sea Golf and Country Club in Tampa. He said he was back there washing clubs one night at like midnight, and while he's washing clubs, like these 3 Italian mobsters like walked in.
3 thugs come in.
3 thugs. 3 gangsters with the hard R. He gave their names. So I'm only giving their names because it adds validity to the claim or whatever. But Frank Regano, who was a lawyer for the mob, Santo Trafficante Jr., and this guy Carlos Marcelo. He said they came in and they had a meeting. And Trafficante and Marcelo are supposedly 2 of the biggest mobsters of the 20th century. If you look them up, their names ring bells in these streets. They're serious guys. And according to Hal Shaw, they have a meeting. So Hal said when they came in, he ducked down because he saw Italian guys. He just got scared, and he like hid behind his counter. And they have a meeting in like this back room, and in that meeting, this is 9 months before any of the Battle of the Sexes, before either match. He said in that meeting, these guys are having a talk, and they mentioned Bobby Riggs by name, and they're like, yeah, Bobby, it's already known Bobby's gonna throw the match versus like he's gonna fix these matches like versus the 2 top women's tennis players in the like they're talking about what's like the battle of the sexes, and they're saying how Bobby's in debt for $100,000, and remember the prize money was $100,000 for the match, and this was Bobby was like. Or Hal Shaw was like, I remember the names because they said Margaret, and my aunt's name is Margaret. That's what he said. See, that's the problem with Hal is that a lot of his stuff, he sounds like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
If you watch, like I watched the video of him like having an interview, and he sounds like the human version of Goofy. Like well, gosh, a couple Italian fellas. Well, like, he sounds like an idiot when he's talking. Like because your aunt's name is Margaret is no base of evidence or whatever, but he's a smoking gun. So people they fought his claims because they're like he sounds like an idiot, and there's like no it's the mafia, it's the mob.
Yeah.
But then Bobby's son came forward and was like, oh, there's 100% chance that meeting could have happened and that Bobby was in on it because Bobby was good friends with a lot of mobsters. So he made previous deals with mobsters and gangsters, a lot of his bets and escapades. He once like lost like $70,000 like in a day with mobsters. Like this is part of the reason why he's in debt because he doesn't know how to handle those gambling problems. And he was best friends with this guy in the Chicago mob, Jackie the Lackey Cerrone or something like that. He was like the number 2 in the mob. It's all this stuff started to come out where it was like, it kind of, and if you look into it, Bobby had thrown matches before. There were a couple articles I read where like in like the 50s and 60s he had like at tournaments like US like at actual like US.
Oh, it's all starting to add up.
Where he and then now you gotta wonder he decimated Margaret. He destroys Margaret Court, who was number 1 overall.
Yeah.
And the rival to Billie Jean King, which is like the perfect way to fire her up, I guess. And then when he plays Billie Jean, he just gets destroyed. And it's if you watch the tape, so a lot of his tennis buddies who came, they were like, yeah, he didn't look like he took it seriously. He didn't. He a lot of people who went to the game, like spectators, they had said it looked like he like didn't want to be there.
He's phoning it in.
Right. Yeah, it looked like he was phoning it in and didn't care. And Billie Jean, and then another weird thing that so he wasn't training. So for Margaret Court, the first match, he was training like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
For this match, he wasn't training at all.
He's just trying to hype it up.
Just hyping up the whole time. But here's something else that's weird. His own son had bet on Billie Jean King to win the match.
Oh.
Which is weird. Why would you, no matter what, you would think your own flesh, like your son would be like,
especially after he just beat the number 1 lady.
Right. Especially.
Oh wait, no.
Yeah, no, he beat number 1 4 months.
Wait, you said his son bet on
Billie Jean King.
Okay, not Margaret.
No, not Margaret Court.
Okay.
So this is the second match. He bet on Billie Jean King to win, which is
you would
your dad's a lifelong professional in this one sport.
He just whooped number 1. Now he's gonna play against number 2.
It's only 4 months later. Kind of begs the question. So what would? But Billie Jean King, when you ask her, she's at. There's like a Outside the Lines documentary, sports documentary, or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like a 10-minute video, but it's about this whole thing. And in the video, they ask her like, "Oh, like, do you think there's any like claim, any possibility to this claim?" And she's like, "Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way that could be true. I know Bobby. He wanted to win that match. I took it from him. He couldn't beat me. Like, she's talking. I think she has to talk that way.
Yeah.
I think as a if you're an athlete, if you're anyone who takes something seriously and you love what you do or whatever, and I think you'd have to be like, no, like I earned that.
Yeah, she can't go up there and be like, yeah, you probably threw the match. Honestly, I'm not that good.
But that was my favorite part of the documentary because she was like, yeah, I knew Bobby, and Bobby had no ties to the mob. And it cuts to his son, and he's like, my dad was best friends with the mafia. They were over every other weekend for lunch and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's too many coincidences.
Yeah, and then there's no other. I looked it up, and there's just no other. There have been other men and women matches, like man versus female. But they were always like handicapped, so it'd be like the girls.
What?
let me explain. You've never heard of handicapped? Like
I've heard of it. Yeah.
you never watched like WWE and there was like a 2 versus 1 handicap match?
I was imagining like a man versus a woman, but to make it even, the man was like in a wheelchair or something.
That's I mean pretty much it's that because it'd be man versus woman, but the girl starts off with like 30 points, and tennis is pretty.
Yeah.
It's like
No, I was thinking like physically handicapped.
I don't think we're allowed to do stuff like that.
I didn't think so either. Well, you could do little people boxing and stuff.
Damn, do you think
Beetlejuice? I watched the Beetlejuice boxing match today. His old boxing match. You ever see that?
I'm trying to think of a good sport where like the number 1 woman versus like the number 1 disabled man in that same sport.
Wrestling.
Maybe racing. Maybe wrestling would be. I don't want to see a girl get her ass beat, unless it's.
Well, do you see there's a dude who
Fallon
like had
Fox.
one leg or something, or had like maybe he had no legs, but he was a wrestler, and he was a monster, dude, because he could fight in like whatever weight class it was, but he's all upper body, so he has no legs, and he still weighs.
That would scare the shit out of me.
Dude, yeah, he was a beast, dude.
I'd also be afraid. I would treat him like a giant tarantula. I'd be like, ooh, like I don't want to hurt him. Like I don't want to squish it.
You wouldn't hurt him. He's a monster.
I think
imagine,
I think I've seen him on ESPN before.
Imagine if I'm like 100, like I weigh 180 pounds. Okay, now imagine you cut off my legs and add all that weight to my upper body, so I still weigh 180 pounds. How big my upper body is. I'm just running at you on my hands.
He's one of those guys. He walks on his hands as well.
Yeah,
one of those
he's
guys.
a beast, dude.
Kobe, cut it out. It's rude.
I think he could take out some female wrestlers. He's taking out dudes.
They're the same. They're equal. What's the difference, Logan?
Physical biology.
Wow, you're a monster.
Sorry, dude. I trust the science.
Oh, now you trust the science.
I trust the science. Not with COVID. That's bullshit.
This is a good first episode. We're coming out strong. We're woke.
we trust the science.
We trust the science.
Didn't Fauci just get COVID? That dumbass.
That's almost history, right? That's a conspiracy.
Here's a conspiracy. Fauci's a bitch.
So yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, there's any other time this happened in history, where man versus woman or whatever, it was handicapped where the girl would start off with 30 points and the guy would have to like catch up or whatever. It was never any other scenario where it was a man versus woman straight up, at least in tennis.
Yeah.
The guy wins.
Yeah.
It's they actually recreated this. So they did it again in '95 under the same title of Battle of the Sexes.
With new people.
With new people.
This isn't the 75-year-old one.
No,
that was something different.
I think Bobby died already at this time. I think it was in '95, which is the same year he died. So it might have been in his honor. I didn't look up this last.
Oh,
one,
that would make sense.
To be honest, but it was between I think her name is Marina Navratilova. She's also one of the greatest. Martina Navratilova. If you're an actual tennis fan, you're probably pissed off at me right now. I don't care. Excuse me.
No,
Between her and some other guy and and the guy smashed her. It wasn't even close. But in '98, the Williams sisters, Venus and Serena, heard of them?
I know them. Those are the only tennis people I know.
Yeah. So in '98,
Heard of them and Federer or something. Is Federer?
Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal.
He's tennis, right?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Djokovic. No.
Djokovic?
Novak Djokovic.
Oh.
I know tennis.
I know that name. I don't know. I know that was a sport.
I'm a big tennis guy. Not really, but my cousin plays for Texas A&M, so
yeah.
I know some tennis because of him. Shout out Noah Shachter. Check him out.
Jewish.
Yeah, we're good at sports sometimes. only the weird sports. But in '98, the Williams sisters, they came out with an open challenge, and they were like, any guy outside the top 200, we could beat them. Any guy outside the top 200, we could smash them. And so this guy, Karsten Brasch, at the Australian Open was like, all right, I'll face these two bitches. And he was described as someone whose diet was like a pack of cigarettes and a pack of beer. Like he wasn't in good shape.
That's a good diet.
Yeah, he just he's one of those guys. And before the match, he was like doing like 18 holes of golf and like smoking and drinking 2 shandies or something. Like he didn't give a shit. and he showed up and he played Serena first, and he beat her like 6-0. And he plays Venus and beats her like 6-1 or so. Like he smashes both of them.
Dang.
And he comes out afterwards and he's like, yeah, 500 and above, anything lower than that, and they have no chance. Like just women in general. And he also claimed that he played the match like someone who's ranked 600 and above. Like he.
Oh my God.
So he just and then they came out afterwards and they were like, okay, anybody ranked 350 and above, we could beat them. Like they moved their goalpost back. Like
Did anyone take that challenge or no?
No. Since this guy John McEnroe, you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
So he's a legendary tennis player who would like scream and bitch and moan on the court all the time. In 2014 or something, I think Trump. I think it was Trump.
Trump played the Serena sisters. Or
Trump. He had like $1 million. He was like, I'll bet $1 million that John McEnroe could beat Serena Williams. And McEnroe went on like Jimmy Kimmel and was like, yeah, I could. He was like, I could beat her. He was like, put the money up. I'll beat that bitch's ass. And then, but they never played each other. And then a
how
couple
old
years,
was he at that time?
McEnroe, I think he was probably like 55. He was probably around the same age as Bobby.
Oh hell, dude, if you're a tennis player, you hit that 55 age, you're like, dude, these ladies suck. Let me get out there.
Yeah, something about I don't know, something about it. And then there was another case that I'm forgetting about, but yeah. So that was because he went on Kimmel and he was like, I smash any bitch I want, doesn't matter. And then Andy Murray,
Smash any bitch I want.
a couple years later, Andy Murray, who was another tennis player, he had like offered to play Serena Williams like in a 1-on-1, and even Serena was like, yeah, I wouldn't even win a point if I play. Like it'd be no purpose. Like, so that's where the conspiracy comes into play. She's the only woman to beat a man.
And she smashed him.
She wasn't even close. She smashes him. But
he's a gambler.
He's a gambler.
He's in debt. They possibly.
He was known as the Common of the Court, the Common of the Clay.
Yes.
Like the articles they call him that, like that old con man. Like that's what he's known for. Part of the never bet against this man or whatever tagline. Part of that is because it might be because he's hustling you, so you can never bet against him because he might be just trying to fuck up your money.
Which is funny because he went against that plan, allegedly, possibly.
Yeah.
Where he gets everyone to be like the build up. He's like, never bet against the man, never bet against the man. Get those odds going in his favor, and then you bet against him.
Which makes sense. You ever watch South Park?
Yeah.
The episode where Jesus has to fight Satan.
yeah. God, I haven't seen that one in so long.
And Satan, everyone in the town, like they bet on Satan to win because he's just this giant monster.
Yes.
And the match starts and Jesus like touches him, and then Satan falls, and he's like, "Oh, I lost." And afterwards, he's like, "Yeah, I bet all the money on Jesus to win. You fucking idiots." I'm Satan, you dumbasses. Why would you bet on me, you fucking dummies?
That's exactly what it was.
It kind of
that makes sense. What do you think?
It's tough because on one end, she's 29, he's 55. If a 55-year-old person challenged me to anything, I would. Well, I'm not 29 yet, but I would destroy.
You're also not a lady.
I'm not. But even more so, if a 55-year-old woman challenged me to something.
What if a 55-year-old gorilla challenged you? Because that's the equivalent of like a man challenging a lady. He's like, "Yo, let's wrestle."
If Coco the gorilla challenged me to,
sign language.
Now I don't feel as confident in myself. When you say gorilla, now I'm like, all right, well maybe.
That's what men are, dude. We're just big gorilla people.
What kind of men?
I didn't say a race. I just said all men. You don't try and spin this. We're big gorillas and they're ladies. Do you see that chimps are like attacking gorillas now? Like packs of them will go and just whoop a family gorilla's ass and like take the kid and kill him.
Like black on black crime.
But no, they're like evolving, dude. They're just jumping these gorillas.
How is that evolving? How is beating up gorillas evolving?
I don't know. I think they're using tools or something to do it. Fucking beat them over the head with the club.
That's your version of evolving. Destroying a primitive species.
They're evolving. They're throwing up gang signs.
It sounds like they're bullying. That's what it sounds like.
That is evolving, though, dude. Finally standing up to bullies. I don't know if gorillas bully them though.
This story is all over the place now. I don't know Whose side am I on?
I don't know. We just gorillas came up, and then I was like, oh, speaking of gorillas,
You
know,
brought them up.
Yeah, true. Speaking of them, that happened.
Speaking of black on black crime and gang violence, you see the gorillas and the monkeys in Africa?
No, gorillas came up because I said men are gorillas in general, and you're like, oh, what men? What kind of men you talking?
I've heard your jokes. I've heard your comedy before.
One time, the magic joke, and you're the one who wrote it, and you told me to do it.
That's a good joke.
That's a good joke. That's a good joke if you do it.
It's a good joke if anyone does it.
That's funny, dude.
Wait,
you have to cut that? No, that's funny.
Can you check the camera again, Theo? Sorry. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. My final thoughts on it, because coming into it, I've heard of this conspiracy or idea before, and coming into it, I don't know. Coming into it, I just assumed my whole life. I was like, oh, this must have been some like really pathetic guy who played, whatever. But then finding out he was a former number one, and he was the former, Wimbledon champion.
Yeah, it wasn't just some scrub.
Right, and then finding out also that this is what he does. He would have ridiculous matches. He was known as the con man. I don't know. It's tough because Billie Jean is a sports icon.
Yeah.
If you talk to her to this day about it, she's like angry about it. She's like adamant, like, oh, like this is. Like, this was real. This is not bullshit. Don't try to belittle my achievements, whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think, from what you said, it is. At first glance, even before you kind of brought everything up, I was like, it is fishy. Even just that she won that decisively. And then you bring up like all the gambling and stuff, the mafia people, he's done it in the past. Just all this stuff makes it seem like, yeah, it. If I had to pick one,
You might have to check the cord down there. Theo.
If I had to pick one, I would say he threw the match.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, but it is tough. What about you? You got to pick one. What do you pick?
If I gotta pick one, I think he threw it. I think he threw the match. I think he was at that time of his age where he just didn't care. Time of his life where he's in his 50s, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll just have fun with this. I'll make my money. Worst case scenario, I bring more eyeballs onto tennis, which he did. I think he kind of did what he said he wanted to do, which is make tennis more visible. He's kind of an icon he's an ally forever, where he's the guy that lost to a woman.
Is that an ally?
I think, right?
I don't think that's how allies work.
I don't know.
Is Hitler an ally to the Jews?
He's definitely our biggest nemesis. I don't know.
I don't think that's an ally.
In the movies and all this stuff, where cause they were good friends. They remained like.
Oh, really? They became friends after?
They were good friends. Like when he died, they talked on the phone like as he was dying, and their last words were like, "I love you." And
I thought they were like enemies.
No, they were great friends.
Oh,
so,
okay. I know that.
You could and same thing with with Renee Richards, the trans woman that he played. It's like was he exploiting these people, or was he actually? She said when he saw her again, he didn't even take a second to adjust.
Yeah.
He was like, "What's
Maybe it's probably a little bit of both. Like, we're cool, but also we could make some money.
We could make some money. He wasn't even Jewish.
Yeah.
I could say that, right? That's
not. Well, you should tell them
that I'm Jewish.
You're Jewish, or they won't know.
Well, that's a conspiracy.
Because look, at first glance, I'm thinking thug.
Or the real Jews.
Black Israelite Jews, the best kind of Jews.
So this was, I guess, we'll let the fans, the listeners decide for themselves after all this information.
Yeah.
Was it rigged, or did Billie Jean King have one of the most important displays of athleticism for women? That's a terrible way to phrase that, but
did she win?
Yeah, did she win or
fairly? Or
was it Bobby rigged?
Now we're talking. That's how you end it, dude.
Like that.
Yeah. Tell them where they could find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Relax and Laugh. Almost History on Instagram, Almost History on TikTok and YouTube, all that stuff. And check out Shoebox Comedy. It's a comedy show that we run. We run once a month in L.A. Best comedy show in L.A. No doubt about it.
Hell yeah. Check me out, Instagram, TikTok, Logan J. Quiroz. Check out my other podcast, Sets and Reps, if you're into fitness stuff. If not, don't check that out.
Yeah, and we'll be back with more historical figures, conspiracies, whatever. Hope you all enjoyed it.
Let's do it. Peace.